Welcome back to Project Tailor Made. My name's Lauren, I'll be your host, and we are so excited that you're here with us today. We have the magnificent Mike Da Gama coming to share with us. He is a professional in business and loves to see people working at their natural best. Get ready, settle in, whatever you have to do to just set aside some time now for you, do that, and then we're going to jump in and chat with Mike. It's going to be fantastic. Welcome back to Project Tailor Made. My name's Lauren and it's my absolute privilege to be with you today. We have an incredible guest, a friend of mine and a true partner to the Tailor Made Program. His name is Mike Da Gama and we're going to have a great time chatting with him today. Mike loves to help people find their natural best, whether that's in their personal life or their business life. He loves to find ways and solutions for people according to their personal vision and values. Mike has been privileged to be a part of 8 startup ventures. Not all have worked, but along the way, his faith and resilience have been given an incredible workout, but he would not change a thing. Mike, welcome.
Thank you, Lauren.
It is so great to have you with us.
Love being here.
We are going to have a ball. So before we go any further, I do have to tell you that you are by far one of our most popular people that comes in and shares. You've been with us for a few years now, coming and sharing with the students in our program. And when we do our little feedback forms, we will very often, 2 or more at least in class, normally more, all say, make sure you keep that Mike guy coming in. He was top notch. And so I just thought I'd let you know that before we get started.
Thanks, Lauren. It's great to hear some encouragement.
We all need encouragement. And you are actually a chief encourager of people, as we heard in the little intro. And so it's nice to be able to give you some back. There you go, mate.
I like that title, Chief Encouragement.
Okay, well, take it, wear it proudly because you do it so well.
Thank you.
We are going to dive in. You shared a little bit with us in the beginning. Well, I did the sharing, but you have had the privilege of being a part of 8 startups and digging your boots in and all with all of that. You've had failure and triumph, and through all different seasons in business and life, you always seem to rise and approach moving forward with such a positive attitude. So I thought you might want to share with our viewers and listeners a little bit about how you stay in that place of being ready to go again and positivity and moving forward, mind, body, spirit, particularly for those who are facing long-term unemployment or sudden joblessness. How do we stay healthy in all of these areas?
Lauren, it's a good question. And it is a hard time for a lot of people at the moment. And I understand that if you've suddenly found yourself without work or reduced work, or you've been long-term unemployed and now the hope of getting something is even more distant, that's a real struggle. And so my heart goes out to people in that situation. So how do you stay focused on keeping a healthy mind, body and spirit in the midst of all that? I think having healthy habits is really important. And whether you're in a job or whether you are looking for work, it shouldn't matter. So getting up that little bit earlier, for example, but at the same time every day, and going for a walk is one way that you can take better care of yourself. Starting the day with a little bit of exercise always gets the blood pumping,
True.
Wakes you up and gets you a bit energized. And because we crave social connection and because we really want to surround ourselves with people who we care about and who care about us,
So good.
go with a friend or with a family member as well so that you have that opportunity to have some social connection at the same time.
Yeah.
It helps keep your mind active. It helps get you started in a good place because you know this person cares about you.
Yeah.
And so I think if you have these habits in place from the start and you get into a rhythm and a flow, then other things during the day tend to go a little bit better. So having those healthy habits is important. So physical exercise is important, and whether you like walking or not, it's free. You can stay close to your home, which we're required to do.
True.
And all sorts of other benefits to just taking a walk. And so I think that's really important. And if you can't get a friend to come along with you because it's hard to get someone to commit at 6 a.m. if that's the time you decide to get up like me, then drag a family member along. So that's what I did with my son. I don't know if he'll come again, but I definitely got him out of bed and he said, "Dad, I can't keep up with you." I said, "Fine, get on your pushy and we'll go together." And he did it.
Why not?
And, we both came home feeling a lot better as a result of that exercise. So I think that's really important, is to stay active however you can. And as it gets colder, that's why we have umbrellas, that's why we have raincoats. You really want to continue to persist getting outdoors. I just think it's healthier to get some fresh air.
Vitamin D.
And vitamin D, if the sun happens to be shining, which I don't
think... In Melbourne,
think
bit dicey, true.
Could go either way, but I think it's really, really important. I guess there's some other things as well, that little tweaks or hacks that you could do that are going to make it a little bit easier to keep your energy and look after your health. So another healthy habit I like is taking advantage of the extra time we have at the moment to do a little bit of cooking and using raw ingredients and starting from scratch. There's a reward in the cooking itself, but you're also eating healthier and it's cheaper than going and buying processed food. And when we're all busy in life with kids or whatever's filling our world, we tend to not think as much about what we're eating.
Absolutely. You just got to get going and get to the next thing, and
that's right.
It's a bit different now.
So being conscious and intentional about what you eat is really helpful as well, because what I also find is that I'm less likely to snack. Now, it gets late at night and, I'm studying and I'll knock off a whole block of chocolate in one night without even being conscious I'm doing it. I'm sitting there studying and I'm just taking a little square at a time, and then suddenly the packet's gone. I'm like, I'm going to have to double my exercise regime tomorrow just to wear that off. In fact, it will probably be the whole week. Yeah, well, funnily enough, I sleep well after a block of chocolate.
The food coma.
That's right. But I think the thing is that, if you're a savoury person, try and eat something healthy that's savoury first to satisfy that craving, and that means you're less likely to snack later.
Right.
So being intentional about what you eat is also important, and it's also cheaper. So I think that's one thing to look at as well. And I think there's also taking time out for yourself and being conscious to reward yourself, and whether that's watching TV or something else is okay. I know that, some people like to sit and watch 3 hours of TV a day, and I wouldn't judge that.
Yeah.
But what I would recommend is that when people are doing that they actually get up in between shows, pause the TV, do whatever they want to do, go for a walk, run around the block, do whatever they can do to get the blood pumping again. Because I think it's really important not to just sit there the whole time, because your energy levels will go down, your motivation will go down, and you'll find that you're back into that space of not feeling too great about yourself. But you'll be surprised, just getting up and walking around and then sitting down again can definitely be of a great help. So I think healthy habits and a bit of structure around your world that helps you block those things that normally bring you down might help you stay up in a better place.
That's amazing. I love it. I really, really love the thought of the way that simple, healthy habits can affect the big picture. We're talking here about unemployment, and we're talking about finding ways to stay motivated or have the energy and the focus to really go after things. And if you think about it, what we put inside our bodies is going to give us the energy. I love the thought of, right now, it is so much easier when life's getting cold, and if you're feeling a little bit unmotivated to want to watch 3 hours of TV. But just the idea that, if I put in a bit of structure and I'm going to do an hour to 2 hours of job hunting or working on that resume, I'm going to jump on LinkedIn and do that free course on how to stay fit and motivated for finding a job. And then I'm going to reward myself with a little treat and an episode of my favourite Netflix binge show. And I love the thought that simple, healthy habits, you don't, like you said, have to have a lot of money. We're not saying get a gym membership. You can't anyway right now. We're saying go for a stroll. they would be going really cheap. Everything's on sale. Just getting out, going for a walk. One thing that I kind of picked up actually as you were sharing as well, we all like to feel that we're achieving or, we tick boxes. We doing these things around healthy habits where we've gone for a walk, where we've nourished our bodies, where we've done something like some job hunting or caught up with a friend, they actually become things that feel like we've had these little achievements during the day. We've actually put something into ourselves. If we've dragged our son along for a run, we've actually put something into him. As much as he, might not have known how great that was going to be for him at 6 a.m. Like you said at the end, both of you were like, oh, we felt so much better. So healthy habits are really, really important. Great stuff there. We're going to move along, even though I don't want to. I love talking about this stuff. But next up, you have in your time in business, and even currently, you spend time in the area of recruiting staff and helping people prepare for the recruitment process.
Yep.
And so could you offer our viewers and our listeners a little bit of some of your nuggets of wisdom in the area of preparing for that interview and being able to set yourself apart in that space?
Sure thing, Lauren. So I find that these relatively simple changes to the way that you approach an interview may well set you apart. And one of the things that people are really expert on is themselves. They like talking about themselves. So if I was to come to an interview with you, perhaps I should be asking you about you first.
Wow.
So, you've invited me in for an interview and I'm so grateful for that. And so let me find out a bit more about you, because what do you do? How long have you been here? How many interviews have you done today? It must be exhausting for you. So I'll try to be as friendly as I can to make this time go quickly for you. So I'm more interested in knowing about you. Do you like this company? What do you like about it? What are the values of this company? And what are the people like? Tell me some more. I want to know more about your business. I think that serves a couple of purposes. First of all, I'm genuinely interested in you. I want to learn more about you because I might be working with you.
Yeah, true.
The other thing as well that is important is that now I'm starting to change the dynamic in the meeting, in the interview, and I'm starting to set you at ease, and I'm also buying myself some time.
Great.
I'm going to be able to decompress after my nerves are racing. I'm sitting in this place and now you're talking instead of me, and I can relax and just listen and enjoy your company.
Wow.
So I think that's really important, is to come in having a genuine interest in the other person, because I find a lot of the time people come in and they sit there and they wait for me to ask the first question. And so now we're both nervous. Do you know what I mean? Am I going to ask the right question?
Feel that tension.
We're both human and we need to connect. And so why wouldn't I ask you something about you and the company you work for? Now, you may work for a recruiter, and so you don't know anything about the company that I am interviewing for, in which case I'll ask genuine questions about you. What got you into recruiting? Do you enjoy it? What kinds of people do you see? What kind of roles have you done? Where are you going to go? Because I'm genuinely interested, because I see all these different people every day. So treat it more like a coffee than with a friend than as an interview at the start, and it may well change the dynamic. I think there are other things as well. And so I'm really surprised by the number of people who don't come into an interview with questions prepared.
Wow.
It's like we get to the end of the interview, where the formal part of the interview, and the question that inevitably comes.
Yes.
Have you got any questions for me?
Totally. Every time.
Oh, no, I've got nothing. And I'm always interested in thinking, well, what, you don't care, or you haven't done any background, or you don't want to know how much you're going to get paid?
Wow.
It's really quite interesting that people don't ask questions of me when I'm interviewing them about the business. They have this opportunity to ask anything they want.
And they don't.
And so coming in with those questions pre-prepared is actually, I think, a really good way to do it, because you're so nervous and the time is going so fast that you get to the end and you're like, no, I've got nothing. Whereas if you come in with them written down, you can say, oh yeah, Lauren, actually, I do have a question about the business, and on you go. So having some really good questions that show that you've done research about the business, if possible, is actually going to help you stand out from the crowd.
I was going to say, it will definitely set you apart.
I certainly think it would, because people don't ask. And I think one of the other things that I think helps set you apart is your personal hygiene.
Yeah.
As obvious as it might seem, people don't take the care in their personal hygiene I think they should often. I'm not saying this is everyone, but you want to look like James Bond. You want to knock me out when you walk in the door, because I want to be sitting there looking at you going, wow, you have really put a lot of attention into your personal hygiene. The clothes you wear are clean and neat. They don't have to be an expensive suit. It just has to look good and presentable.
Yeah.
You know, you've done your hair, you've brushed your teeth, and if you've eaten souvlaki like I did, you have a mint before you walk in.
Wow.
It just helps, because I tell you what, if you haven't taken care of those things, those basic things, you might be the sweetest person, but I can't get past the fact that I can see the lettuce in your teeth. So I think it's
true.
It's really
but
distracting.
It's basic, but it can be really true. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that's another thing that I would highly recommend, is just pay attention to the details, because people notice those things. Even if they don't consciously notice them, it's going to get to them. So definitely, there's some top tips.
I think that they are top tips. I wouldn't actually think of the very first tip that you said there, which we talked about as well, being able to feel like we're in control of the steps that we're taking in life. It kind of puts you back in that driver's seat of, that's right, I applied for this job. That's right, I put the work in to be in the room. Mm-hmm. I can ask some questions and kind of I have a part to play in where this is going. I'm not just kind of being carried along by these random questions that might be asked of me. And making a connection with someone can take you so much further than you realise, particularly in that interview setting. So thank you for that. Now, I called you Chief Encourager at the beginning, and so I'm just going to give you a chance to do a bit of that now. What would you like to say to our viewers and listeners who need that encouragement right now? They're holding on, they're wanting to see a new door open. What might you want to say just to give them some encouragement as they're doing that, waiting for the next job opportunity and wanting to find that new meaningful space?
Thanks, Lauren. So for those of you who are looking for that next opportunity, the most important thing is to hang on to hope and to remember that every step that you take forward is taking you through the valley to the end. Focus on the end and be attentive that each step you put in front is actually going to help you get through there. Really want to encourage you that, you know what, as we rebuild our businesses and our economy, as we emerge from this COVID time, that we're going to be rebuilding the economy and we're going to be looking for people like you. So make sure that you're there, that you stand up to be counted. Remain hopeful, remain optimistic, because we will be rebuilding the businesses of Australia and we're going to be looking for people like you.
Well, we have just witnessed some encouragement, some steps that will really empower you. I really encourage you, if you need to, go back, watch again, listen, write them down, get those healthy habits going to not only keep you going, but to lift you up so that you can hold on to hope and remember what Mike has just encouraged us with, that as we rebuild post-COVID, post this crazy, strange season, that we will be looking for people like you. And in fact, we are looking for people like you right now. Mm-hmm. Thanks for joining us today. Thank you, Mike.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Lauren.
It's been awesome. Thank you, friends. And we will see you again soon. Bye.
Bye.